everybody, welcome back to Planet Coaster. We're about to enter another round of the circle. In the last shot we built the building of a city administration. As announced, I copied the building to the nearest segment. There I added a few more shops to extend the shopping streets a little bit more. I thought it would look quite cool if these two buildings had a passageway on one of the higher floors. That's where we start this episode. Also today we are going to fill another segment of the circle with buildings. I am working here with the inverted railroad track as a base, which also has been used on the platforms of the Eiffel Tower. Even though it would probably not be stable enough in real life so that people could walk on it, and it could also get a little draughty from below because the wooden panels are not tight, I like the texture of the surface of this construction element. I'm also equipping the body with glass walls, which should allow a very nice view over the city. Clearly, this is not a preferred route for people with the fear of heights. This passageway gives the two houses another nice detail and loosens up the architecture a bit. I find the power cables very useful and use them often, but never to actually represent power lines. I think that they are especially suitable on glass elements to indicate interruptions and to make the glass wall visible at all, apart from its refraction of light. It was quite a back and forth to find lighting for the transition, but it turned out that the components used were too thin and to hide the lamps inside, so I left it in the end. I could have raised the ceiling of the passage, I'm trying this one out, but I didn't like the proportions of the ceiling and floor, so no lighting at night. This path is closed at sunset. Here I added some wooden planks because the glass walls have to be fixed somewhere, and I thought there could be safety reasons to form a solid closure at least up to knee height. Now the whole thing just needs to be copied to the other side, a few adjustments here and there, and we are done with the connecting of the two houses. Let's move on to the next item. As you know, in this mini project we will focus on building a city, more precisely a replica of Paris. However, I've decided to bring forward point 5 of the project plan in the next episode and build a metro around this whole area. That way this project gets at least one aspect of an amusement park, which is what Planet Coaster is mainly about. Now it's done, dear. In the last episode I reported on how the city planners in Paris had proceeded and that two-story houses like the ones I'm building right now were a no-go. Nevertheless, I think it would be clever to build the houses in the inner rings smaller than those in the outer rings, so that from the upper floors of the buildings in the outer rings the view to the Eiffel Tower is clear. I hope this doesn't sound too arrogant, but my city, my rules. Compared to the real Paris, this replica is wrong anyway, because in reality a vast park, the Champ de Mars, extends around the Eiffel Tower. Anyways, back to the building process. You will see this in a minute as soon as I'm done with the restrooms and the staff room. I assumed it would take me less time to build a section of the house and then use this section as a template to finish the rest of the house. As it turned out, this is probably only a clever way to do so if you're building more or less straight buildings where it's okay if the front looks more or less repetitive. Which curved buildings, which we need here, it takes a lot of time to fill the gaps caused by the curves. Nevertheless, I wanted to try this alternative instead of filling the segment with single houses as I did in the first block. Conclusion: both ways work. Both procedures take a similar amount of time until completion. The decision which way is preferable therefore depends only on the results you wanted to achieve in the end. Furthermore, I would like to do without custom-built roofs for the moment, because we already used quite a lot of pieces for the previous buildings. A number of other buildings will be added, and I'm gradually worried that my computer will be able to display this many pieces, and that the game won't collapse at some point. You've probably already heard that the game gets display problems when the number of pieces used becomes too large. This is affectionately called pack count by some YouTubers. As stated, this is because Planet Coaster always tries to display all components the camera is pointing at, including those pieces that are in the viewing direction but are, for example, covered by a wall in front of it or they are underground. We've learned from the ThemeMaker's toolkit, in which you can create your own objects that can be used in a project, that it is possible to assign a number of textures to an object, which allows a more rough representation of this object from different distances. Nevertheless, many examples of ambitious theme park designers in the Steam Workshop show that the power of the graphic engine can be put to a test, and that this is not only limited to the performance of the graphic card of your own computer. Oh dear, I can see I've been talking for over 6 minutes now. Enough talk. For the rest of this episode, I'll leave you with some music and get back to you at the end of the video. Enjoy! The house has been built and put to a sensible use. As our city is increasingly taking shape, I thought it was time to install street lighting. A city also needs signs with street names, otherwise no one can find the way around. Here and there I placed some garbage bins, hired caretakers, and finally gave the hotel a dignified appearance. Now we come to the end of the video. I thank you guys for watching and would be happy if you leave me a comment and like. See you in the next episode. Bye.